Welcome to the second video for the Crazy Christmas Squares cowl. In this video I want to go over how to make the eyes, forming the angel's mouth and finishing each square. If you haven't already, take a look at my Centre Out Overlay Mosaic Crochet Techniques video. This accompanies the techniques document and special stitches sheet you will have already received in the first week. The reindeer and Santa have tiny little eyes which are basically puff stitches. I do have my own technique to make sure the eyes stand out a bit, but let me show you how to make them. For the Santa and reindeer, there will be a point where you have to make the eyes. It's quite early on in the pattern. You'll see an E, one E, and that refers to the eye. There are some written instructions in the special stitches document. So single crochet corner in single crochet, chain one, single crochet, drop that yarn, one single crochet, one single crochet corner and one eye. So here's my single crochet corner. The easiest thing is to mark the back loop of the eye stitch. So there's the stitch, and let me mark, let's get rid of that so you can see, and let me mark that stitch. That's the back loop. That's going to help us later. I'm going to be working into this front loop here, yarn over, push your hook through, pull a loop through, and then repeat, yarn over, push your hook through, pull a loop through. And normally you'd yarn over and pull through everything on your hook, but because I want this stitch not to pop through to the back, I want it to stay at the front, I'm now going to fix it to this back loop so we can see where that is. Let's take that out, and I'm going to, first of all, it is fiddly. Should have left that stitch marker in maybe, but so you could see, but I've pushed it through. I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to pull through everything on my hook. Try not to work too tightly like I just have. Angle your hook down. Sometimes that can help. It won't get caught so much in the stitches. So pull it all the way through. And there's your eye. When you come to do the angel's mouth, it involves snowflake stitches. Now I'm not going to go over in detail. As I say, you can look at the video that I've done on it. But let me just show you how to locate those stitches. So I've done my first 2 rounds, and now I'm going to do a double crochet corner. Then I need to do these 3 snowflake stitches, and these define the mouth. So I've done my 2 rounds already, and now I want to do a double crochet corner. So here's my marked stitch, and I'm going to do double crochet, chain 1, double crochet into that space. So let me just get rid of that stitch marker so you can see. Double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, mark that stitch, that corner chain. Now the problem is finding that next stitch, whether it be a single crochet or a snowflake stitch. So I'm going to pull it forward. There I've marked my previous round, the corner stitch, the corner chain. So there's my next stitch. So if you're going to be doing a single crochet, you do it into the back loop. But for the snowflake stitch, I'm going to push my hook through both loops. Again, you know, watch the video because I do go through it quite slowly a few times. It can be quite difficult to see on this. So through for the back, swing my hook around. Whoops. Swing my hook round because I want it to go into, or should I say through, that back. It's quite hard to see. And then single crochet. Let me just take that out because that is getting in the way now. Single crochet. Let me try and show you again. This one probably a bit easier to see. Push from the back to the front through both loops, swing it round, and then can you see you've got like the 2 loops now on the front rather than just 1 loop, so it just makes it more, just emphasizes it more. You'd have like a little tiny dash of a mouth otherwise. And then you just carry on with the pattern. You only need to do the snowflake stitch for the angel on that first row, but you can see how that is now more prominent. I quite like that. Gives her kind of like a rosebuddy mouth.
You will see that in each pattern the last 4 rounds of each square have 2 options, to make an inner border or not. In the red version I have made the inner border. In the purple samples I chose not to make an inner border, but the choice is entirely up to you. In the pattern I also talk about making joined double crochet stitches in the last few rounds of each square.
What I want to do is not have a flap at the back on the last few rounds. So I'm going to do a joined double crochet. I'm going to start my stitch in the normal place in that front loop and pull a loop through. But before I do the next part, I'm going to push through the back loop of the single crochet behind. Now I'm going to continue making my double crochet, but you can see I've incorporated that back loop into the stitch. Let me show you again. Loop over, yarn over, through the first stitch. Yarn over, into the front loop of the stitch 2 rounds below, yarn over, through the loop. Then I'm going to push my hook through the back loop of that single crochet behind, yarn over, and I'm going to pull through this loop and the 2 loops on the hook. So I have 2 loops left, and then finish my double crochet.
I don't do a joined double crochet in the corners. I have found the alternate yarn can show through, but again this is entirely up to you. If you intend to join the squares using something like a mattress stitch, then I have found making 2 chains in the corners in the very last round does help to make things neater and easier to see. It's not critical, but something for you to consider. Even if you are using acrylic yarn, it's worth blocking the squares. As each of the designs is different, the texture and size can be slightly different. Use blocking boards or even layers of towels on a waterproof surface and pin each square to the same size. Spritz with some water and leave to dry. I usually leave this a day or so. You can also take the opportunity to massage the square into shape a bit. Once dry, you'll find they'll hold their shape and make it much easier to join. Now you have everything you need to create your squares. I'll see you in the next video where we'll look at joining and borders.